morning.
Coming on the heels of yesterday's commemorations concert
Your design
at Uhuru Park, where tens of thousands gathered
of Gen Z
in peace.
Na pia kuna wale ile kwa support wenye sima Gen Z.
Yeah.
Meaning wame appreciate the cause mtu wangu wa power. Yes,
Speaking of supporting Gen Zs, our guest today is a lawyer. And he was on X Space yesterday talking to the Gen Zs because they want to plot out the way forward.
The way forward.
What is the best way? What happens after they said Ruto must go? And then Ruto confronted them and talked to them and spoke to them. Then what's the next step? Or is this going to fizzle away?
It might not. It depends on what the strategy is.
Ndegwa Njiru joins us live in the studios. He's an advocate of the High Court. Ndegwa, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Jeff, for the opportunity to have a moment
Karibu sana.
with our listeners, and I pass my regards and kind regards to them all.
To all the Gen Zs who are listening to you, what do you tell them? What do you tell them?
We are winning this struggle because the struggle of committed individuals is a struggle that has a cause, that a purpose, and there is a reason why. There's a reason why we are all in the struggle. It's because we have bad governance in this country. We have a government that is not accountable to the people. We have a government that is not transparent. We have a government that disregards the rule of law. We have a government of bandits. And therefore, it's our duty to make sure that we deal with these bandits, because I call it a government of government of the bandits, by the bandits, and for the bandits.
Yeah, but the same people who you're talking to are the same people who voted for them.
Yes, Jeff. They actually voted for this government unknowingly. They were induced into voting for it. The people who were contesting that particular time forcibly obtained our votes by giving us fake and false premises that they have not been able to live up to. We have now realized that we were wrong, and we shall remedy that wrong.
Your design, I don't think it was forcefully while you were by in terms of their manifesto.
Hustler
Na
nation.
mukasema toka mukatene.
Kumira.
Taduraku.
Yeah, Jeff, if you remember the halubaloo that was going on during that time, and kind of the commercial puffs that were being done by William Ruto and his cadres, not many people would have actually been able to resist the urge to join his cause, because he targeted the most vulnerable people in the society, the hustlers. The most vulnerable people, the mamambogas and the border people. And at least he spoke a message of hope. Just little did we know that this was false hope. So it was easy for him to convince them. Not that they actually wanted him, but he easily convinced them that he has a solution for their problem. Only to learn that he's actually compounding the problems that were there.
So he had an amazing pitch.
Yes, he had.
And it was like the Pied Piper. If it was a 15-round fight, right?
Yes.
Round 1 has been won by Gen Zs.
Imeisha.
Sio.
Si bill imeangushwa.
Yes.
Bill imeangushwa.
That's correct.
And the president promised ABCDE, which they need to follow up, by the way. Yeah? He says he's going to drop members of his cabinet.
Yeah.
Sijui nini, wale wazee, wale mafossils.
Yeah. Pia, agenda ilikuwa finance bill.
Yes.
That was the war was against
finance bill.
Finance bill.
Yes.
So right now that your war against finance bill has been won, when you umesema won by the Gen Zs.
Yes.
The big question is ni nini ngine bado Gen Zs
round 2 tunaenda wapi?
Agenda ni nini?
Wanaenda wapi?
The problem was not just the bill.
Yeah.
The problem was even the government itself.
Itself.
Because if it was a caring government, a government that is a listening government, they would not have brought that bill in the first instance. So we have now realized that unless we fix Mr. William Ruto, we will not fix Kenya. So there is that now urge of making sure that we push him out of this out of power.
But legally you can't.
Through constitutional means.
Legally you can't.
Through constitutional means. Because the constitution has created tools that are available for us. The first tool is one that has been created under Article 1, which speaks about the power of the people, which speaks about the people exercising their sovereignty directly, and the other tool is also read together with Article 146. It speaks about the resignation of a president. We have pushed for his resignation, but remember, resignation must be a voluntary process, and this guy will not resign. So we need to resort to the next tool about the impeachment of the president, because it is one of the constitutional tools available, so that then we are bringing up parliament in this, sacking it in this, and asking them to impeach the incompetent president.
Ndegwa, that is a mirage.
A mirage.
It may appear as if it's a mirage, But the fact that people are determined to do it, the fact that a motion will be tabled in Parliament, showing all the odds that Mr. William Ruto has done, then it will also be a win to our democracy, in the sense that we have put into test one of the most rare tools in our constitution to try and bring the government to check, to try and enhance the rule of law, to try and tell the government, it is not you who is superior, but the people are superior. But don't you also forget that we have a fourth tool.
Yeah, which is
the election coming up on the 8th of August, 2027. On that particular day, tear gas will not work, water cannons will not work, AK-47 and G3s will not work, guns will not work. What will work is our votes. So if we do not succeed in implementing all these tools, then the final tool, which is conclusive in itself, will be on the 8th of August 2027.
Which is still not a guarantee, though.
The determination that people have and the kind of the focus people have, we believe that we shall succeed.
And when we say we, who's we?
We the people. We the people.
The preamble to the Constitution.
We the people.
We the people.
And the people that you saw yesterday at Uhuru Park, and many of us who are silently following the process, because the crowd is bigger than what you can imagine, because the biggest revolution is happening in our hearts and in our minds. But there is a procedure and there is a process of us getting there. Because you realize that the majority of the people in the streets, most of them perhaps don't even possess the most lethal arsenal. And that
voting
is the ID,
card,
the
ID.
The identity card.
Yes.
And you can see Mr. William Ruto is frustrating the process of issuance of the ID card, because that is the most lethal arsenal that he would not wish to have it unleashed against him.
But
So
So is he holding that hostage?
Yes, he
is that his trump card?
Yes, he is. Yes, because you can realize that there is no production of IDs. And you even remember there was even a suggestion that if you lose your ID, you'll pay 1,000 shillings. There was even a gazettement, which is still in force today. People are actually paying that amount. So it's a way of trying to curtail the people from acquiring their arsenal. Yeah. And it's a sabotage to the process of democracy if that is actually happening. So you can also realize they've been saying that the machine that produced these ID cards is faulty, is broken down. Yeah. We are proposing that these machines be devolved to the counties, so that every county has its machine and a production unit for their IDs, so that everybody gets the ID in readiness for second Tuesday of August.
Lakini unaweza kitu venye walikuwa wamesema sota kwa kipei kuget IDs ama kukuwa issued with replacements. It was more to do with revenue collection as opposed to frustrating efforts of registering new voters, from where I said, because this story Gen Z hata ikuwa ime crop up.
It's a manifestation that we have now seen. And he knew that he has lost favor with the people. He knew that the majority of those people who never voted will participate in 2027's election. And therefore, strategically, he took that avenue to try and frustrate democratic space.
They've been there before, for instance.
Bro, mimi nimekuwa huko kwa struggle.
Lakini
I've been very consistent.
Ulikuwa wapi wewe?
I have been very consistent.
We've never heard of you.
No, Jeff. Jeff, it is you has never heard of me. Just check out and see what we have been able to do. To the extent that Jeff, listen, Jeff.
Yes. Yeah.
When William Ruto went and stole the majority in Parliament, because Azimio was a majority with 177 against 165. I personally went to court. The question we are posing to the court is, who determines the majority in Parliament? Is it the Speaker, or is it determined on the date of the elections? So that then, if the majority is determined on the date of the elections, then the return of forms 35A means it's a conclusive position that cannot be mutilated, cannot shift, and cannot change. And can only be subsequently changed with a subsequent election.
Hata kina baba wamekuwa wamesema they've been part of the struggle nini na nini. But none of them wameleta pressure design Gen Zs wameleta. Now that's why Gen Zs wanasema we are leaderless. We are fearless. We don't have affiliations and religion na political parties. But now there are factions zimetoka from nowhere, including legal minds like Mr. Njiru here. When someone wanasema tunaenda na hii wave, don't you think mtadilute what the spirit and the agenda of these young minds are?
Sasa hatujaandalia hii wave. Tumekuwa huko. We have been there. in the struggle and in the trenches. But remember, every generation contributes to the struggle in its own way. Baba's generation and His Excellency Orengo's generation contributed to the climb of multi-party democracy. Remember, the Generation X and part of Generation Millennium and others also contributed to send Moi home in 2002.
Yeah.
So the next generation that also contributed is now this generation. So we have all participated in trying to clamor for democratic and to expand our democratic space in this country. So there is no generation that can be said, oh, this generation has been idolent. We have all taken part in making sure that we get the kind of the government that we want. Remember, if the Generation X had not fought for the new constitution, Article 37 would not be there. Because Article 37 is one that speaks about agitation, picketing, and protest. Gen Zs were not there to fight for the provision or the creation of Article 37.
Okay.
It is we who fought for it.
Then
so
why
we created it for them.
Then why do they keep telling us that we've let them down?
No. It's miscommunication. There is no generation that has let Kenya down. Every generation has contributed to being where we are today. And I'm just giving a small example. Where were the Gen Zs in 2010 when we were enacting the constitution? They were not there. But we made sure that we create a tool that will be available to be consumed by the next generation. And that's why we keep on saying that our constitution is intra and intra-generational.
Amazing.
Intra.
And intra-generational.
The other thing that bothers me, IEBC has not been reconstituted.
Exactly. Yes.
Is that deliberate?
It's deliberate. It's deliberate for Mr. William Ruto to make sure that this is not done. Because the fish has rotten from the head. Because you want to control the majority in Parliament. Number two, we are at the verge where we are supposed to do the boundary review in most of the constituencies. Remember, the Constitution says you cannot do these boundary reviews 12 months to the elections.
Right.
That's what, yes. And then it also says that after 8 years of the new Constitution, boundary reviews will be, the boundaries will be reviewed.
Yeah.
Boundaries adjusted and new constituencies created. To date, we were the IBC had gazetted that they were to do it last year. To date, we have not done it. If we get to next year without an IBC, it means that we shall go for the subsequent elections without have created boundaries and created constituencies to take care of the population quota. So it is strategic. But then we might want to ask ourselves, the IBC bill has been formulated. It is gathering dust at Mr. William Ruto's desk. But nevertheless, the Constitution has created mechanisms where that bill will become law upon the expiry of 14 days. The most important thing is, how will the IBC be constituted? The bill proposes that a panel will be created to vet the IBC commissioners. We need to look at the composition of that panel. The political parties license committee is to produce 3 people. The civil service and the Mwananchi produce 2 people. William Ruto produces 2 and Azimio produces 2. So the question is, these are the individuals who will come up with the next IBC. These individuals must be men and women of integrity. They must be beyond Caesar's wife, men of good repute and men of good repute. Wako na track record fiti. Na hapo ndio tunacheki saa hizi, na hapo ndio tunaangalia saa hizi who will go into that particular panel. Let's not think about, oh, the bill has not been signed, it has not been assented to. It will become law. Itakuwa tu sheria within 14 days.
I think the MP passed away after elections, right?
Yes.
And they have no leadership. They are
not represented.
They're not represented.
Exactly.
So CDF.
Yes. That means even currently as we speak, Parliament is not constitutionally constituted because there is lack of representation. Remember, one of the tasks of an MP is representation, oversight, and legislation. So if we were to be a democracy that looks into the question of the rule of law, the speaker would not be seated where he is speaking. He has never even spoken about it. That is presiding over a parliament that is not properly constituted. It's because of the idleness that we suffer. It's because of the fatigue that we suffer. It's because we have not realized that we have a new constitution that we need to implement.
Ile point I think ni muhimu ni the education, sensitization, awareness. Especially legal means through which hizi vita zinaweza zikakuwa won. For instance, unacheki the finance bill was a legal process, right? That's why legislation na legislature lazima wali play a role. Na kama wali fight ikakuwa put down, inamaanisha all those tools that you've indicated, including
available
elections na vitu kama hizo. I think pia hiyo ni area of focus wasewaneza waka emphasize on, so that people know. While speak Gen Z's about recalling, what does it take for that to happen? I think people need to be made aware. Apart from that, mambo ya picketing ndio wasi wanasema tu it is our right, but to what extent? Una realize vitu kama hizo.
Katiba imepeana solutions na imepeana mutaratara ya kufanya hii story. Na imesema kwanza power yote iko na mwananchi. Sisi ndo tumekuwa tumelalia hiyo power. Number 2, if you to then look at the question of the tools I've just spoken about, and also respond to your question, what is most important is to remain within the Constitution. The struggle must be guided by the Constitution. We must not employ any extra constitutional means, because the moment we get out of the Constitution, we'll never get back. We'll never get back. And those people that you also targeting will also say, si mmesema mtaki katiba, hata mimi sitaki hiyo katiba.
Pia watu operate.
Lakini niko na jeshi, niko na polisi, wote tupambane. That is why,
is there a chance or a fear that this revolution will be hijacked? And I'm not talking about by goons. But politicians, you know.
You know what will happen, This revolution will culminate into putting in place a government. The government that will be put into place will be open to each and every person to participate in the formation of that government. Because we have said our struggle is a constitutional struggle. We have also said we are going to remain within the armpit, the four corners of the Constitution. One of the pillars of our democracy is non-discrimination. If that is one of the pillars that we have in our democracy, then we cannot simply say, because the Gen Zs have been able to push this, then anybody beyond this age cannot participate in the process. Because the process of democratization must be a non-discriminatory process. So it is all of us. The most important thing is to make sure that we elect men of integrity, that any person whom we think that can form government must be a person that we can call to order. A person who will respect the rule of law, a person who will enhance the most cardinal points of the rule of law, transparency, accountability, the involvement of the public participation, the expansion of a democratic space, the sustainable development concepts. Those are the major principles that we must make sure that any person we think about will be part and parcel of this. So we cannot say that anybody is going to hijack, because we all have equal rights and equal freedoms.
Do you think there's some leadership that will emerge out of all this? Because, they keep saying they're leaderless, they're tribeless, they're fearless. Will a leadership emerge at some point?
Yes, it will. It will, because leaders emerge during the time of crisis. They actually made during the time of crisis. And because we are simply saying that we want Ruto must go, if he goes, he must get a replacement. Because we also do not want to be a pariah state. We also do not want to be a failed state. Who is that who will replace Mr. William Ruto when he goes? Either through resignation, either through impeachment, or through the date that we have with him on the 2nd August of Tuesday, 2027. There must be a replacement, because a government must be formed. So as we move on, the struggle will keep on mutating depending on the circumstances and the necessity of the stage at which the struggle is.
Can it fizzle out?
It will not fizzle out. It will not fizzle out, because the struggle cannot fizzle out, because we have still not fixed the problem that we have. If you fix William Ruto, you fix our education. You fix William Ruto, you fix our health sector. You fix William Ruto, you fix the transport system. You fix William Ruto, you fix the rule of law. You fix William Ruto, you fix democracy. So,
if you don't like the next guy, and if you don't like the next guy, and if you don't like the next guy,
you see, it's easy in a democracy that we may not all feel represented by the particular person that we have elected. But we have given Mr. William Ruto a chance to prove himself, and he has miserably failed.
That's the thing. It is his first term. Now that he had you guys akabao to pressure,
nakakubali,
akawithdraw.
No, he has not withdrawn. He has not bowed the pressure. Remember, Mr. William Ruto is a very cunning person, and I might say so that.
And that's an opinion.
No, it's a legal opinion, because look at the way he has made attempts to withdraw it. He says delete all the clauses. It's not possible constitutionally, if I may explain.
Yeah.
Because he forwarded this bill pursuant to Article 115 of the Constitution. Article 115 provides that the president may give his reservations to Parliament. And upon receipt of that reservation, Parliament may amend in accordance with that particular reservation, send the bill back to him for assent, with considering having put into consideration the proposed amendments,
yeah.
right? But what did he say? He never proposed an amendment. He said delete. The Constitution does not contemplate a situation or a scenario whereby a bill ends in nothing. Because Parliament is supposed to make sure that upon consideration of those reservations, the bill is sent back to President. If then you delete, what shall we send back to the President? It's a cunning way of trying to tell us, oh guys, I have listened to you, I've heard you.
Yeah.
But the proposal that he made is not constitutionally applicable.
Mbona usiseme okay, amesema atachuja?
Yes.
CS.
Alisema. Na
Amesema,
mimi nikamwandikia, by the way,
cheki.
I gave him a list of the guys that's supposed to send to sack. Hii list nimesema, Jeff nimesema,
Yes.
Zakayo begin by sacking CS Machogu 68, Professor Dungo 64, Alice Wahome 64, Kamau Thunge 60, Wetangula 68, Mudavadi 65, Felix Kozigei 60, Murkomen corruption, Linturi corruption, DCI Amin 60.
Ati Murkomen what?
Corruption.
Enough.
Wewe ukusikia ile story alijua watu walipatikana huko.
There's no proof.
Mimi sijui.
Hakuna proof.
Lakini yeye mwenyewe pia hajakataa. Yeye mwenyewe hajasema ni uongo. Yes. Yeye mwenyewe hajasema ni uongo. You see, we are simply not having discipline in government. That's why we're in this mess. Unaona msee anavaa watch sijui ya 25 million ama ni 5 million. Jamaa mwingine alikuwa makanga the other day, anaenda anatoa 20 million kwa harambee. Very casually. Unaweza makanga juzi ametoa 20 million wapi na anasema yeye alikuwa makanga.
Anaweza kualiekelea.
And he has no business. Hana business anafanyanga. Hakuna biashara anajulikana hata kukanyakanyangi.
Labda aliwekelea gold.
Unagia.
Hii ni serikali ya wash. Ndio nilikwambia it's a government of the bandits, by the bandits and for the bandits.
Your design.
Yes.
Na hiyo ndio kitu imewachosha sasa.
Kabisa.
Unajua politics saizi imekuwa proven kuwa the simplest and easiest way
Exactly.
towards wealth creation.
Yes.
So unashindwa wao wanaenda shule kufanya. Vijana wanaangalia wanaona vijana wenye hawajasoma.
Ndio wako Parliament.
Ndio wana ball, ndio wako Parliament, ndio wako na kitu nini na nini. Unashanga hii education ya mine.
We must change.
Unakumbuka hata during the space na president, a lot of young men walikuja kusema nimemaliza shule.
Sina job.
Graduate, sina wera.
Ati unaona wewe uko na degree, wewe uko fiti, wewe ni mathematician ama wewe ni scientist wa IT. Lakini msee anakuja kuambia, unajua for the last 2 years nimeemploy 160,000. Out of a population of 28 million people who are now agitating for change, you've only managed to employ 160.
Ndegwa si anapeleka watu Saudi Arabia na Doha na Qatar.
Look at it. Look, even before he came, people were going there. And they were not going there as a result, they were going there as a means of making sure that as a means of necessity. It's out of the extremes that they decided to go there. Alafu nasema ati unapeleka watu Qatar, unapeleka watu zi wapi, unapeleka msee yako na degree akakuwe made. Na unakuja kutuambia ati umepeleka watu Qatar. What is this? In any case, how can a government pride itself with exporting labor and brain drain?
Si wanatuma pesa home.
Gani
hizo wanatuma. Let me ask you, why does China not take exportation of labor? That's one of the most terrorist country in the world. Wao wanakaa huko wanajenga nchi yao. Wewe uko hapo unasema una export.
Gen Zs are listening to you right now, wherever they are.
Yes.
What do you tell them going forward?
I would tell them that they should remain focused to the struggle. I'll tell them that they must understand that other people have also contributed to the situation where we are today, and therefore they should not be bashed, they should not be kicked out. I tell them that we are all affected by the situation that is currently existing in the Republic of Kenya. And I also tell them that unless we unite together, without boundaries of age, because the Constitution provides that nobody shall be discriminated on the basis of age or political orientation or inclination. We will not win this struggle. We must all join together and realize that we are in a struggle, so that then the struggle will have some serious focus and some serious results. So we need to get a course that is C-A-U-S-E, and a course, C-O-U-R-S-E.
Cause and a course.
Yes, cause and course.
Yes.
We need to have that. And we also challenge the members of parliament to bring up a motion of impeachment against William Ruto. Let's see how far we can go in testing that constitutional tool. Yeah. Let's see whether our democracy has matured. Let's see whether Mr. William Ruto will interfere with the parliamentary processes of trying to compromise members of parliament to compromise the motion. Na wakikosa kufanya hivyo, Gen Z nasikia watu siku hizi mtu unajua ukisalimia neighbor si vibaya, una habari yako mzuri. Nasikia wanafanya hivyo.
Wanasalimia watu.
Na salamu ziendelee, maana ukisalimia neighbor kuna shida gani sasa?
Kuna shida.
Yeah, in any case you're a member of parliament, si ndio? If you go to pay him a visit, what's the problem?